Welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. Back at it again. Craft man, what's going on, man?
I think he went out again, so let's try it again. Welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. We got my boy, Matt Hamm, AC.
I don't know, Craft man. It just don't hit on the Discord that like it did on the Zoom.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's
Pops
just
it all
like
up.
they don't want you screaming in the mic or something. It's like we want to be excited, but fuck. Discord don't like excitement.
I guess. I mean, shit. But shoot, tonight, this episode, we ain't doing nothing. We just talking about shit. We're gonna talk about our dynasty leagues, our teams. Me and Kraft got a mock going on. We ain't gonna really get into it, but we just mocking, talking about fantasy football, about what's going on. I know me and the poor man, we just finished up the running back, so me and Kraft probably gonna hop on these wide receivers here soon. Probably next episode or two. So
Yep.
What you think, Kraft man? What you got for the people out there?
Shit, I mean, I think we're just gonna talk about a little bit about Dynasty, how it works, how everything goes, what our plans are for these startup drafts and rookie drafts, like how we're gonna approach it, and shit, how we're approaching our dynasty teams that we have right now. Like if we're rebuilding or if we're going for it, like what a good strategy is for everybody out there.
Yep. I mean, I don't really know what. Here's what I'll say. All my teams now are win now mode type teams, and this is one thing I'm gonna say. How I am when I listen to other podcasts and stuff. It's like some of these podcasts, they're just teaching you how to rebuild all the time. It's just like but I feel like we're just a little bit different from that. Like, if you got a chance to be in the playoffs, I think you should be going for the championship. That's how I feel about this stuff. I know I listen to some where it's like they'll try to get in the top 3 or the bottom 3. And I'm just like, man, I can't just dedicate a whole season to be in the bottom 3. Like, I feel like, and you can ask Chris. I mean, we were picking this dude, Chris, to finish like 8th in our league. This dude just won the championship. So, it's like, what I'm saying ain't totally crazy. Am I right, Kraft?
You're exactly right. I mean, Noah won our championship first year Dynasty League last year. He started off hot, like 6-0 or so. And then he lost like 6 or 7 in a row, like 7 of his 8. And nobody in the playoffs was like, I mean, we were all on my dad's team because he was older, had McCaffrey, had Josh Allen, stuff like that. We were like, he's winning the championship. And then Noah sneaks in the 6th spot out of 12, so the last playoff spot, and fucking wins out. Scores like over 200, like 215 on the last week, and wins. I mean, shit, we all know what can happen in the playoffs, so I don't believe in that whole fucking, one, top 3 or bottom 3 crap. Like, just build your team the best that you can, and there's a lot of players out here that you can get to win now that people are just letting go because, I mean, we talk about it all the time, like, what you say, Matt, like these running backs, 26 to 29 or whatever. A lot of people are shopping them, and you can get them kind of cheap because people want to get rid of them. And it's not a bad idea to get rid of them, but it's also not a bad idea to stack your team with some of these guys because, some wide receiver depth and running back depth is what's going to win you championships. So, that's a double-edged sword right there, in my opinion.
Agreed. 1,010%. Yep, because these older players could definitely go for cheaper. I'm sure Derrick Henry right now. When I say cheap, though, I mean, you could probably get Derrick. I mean, it will still take a first rounder to get Derrick Henry, though. But it might just get a late first.
Yeah. It depends on what team you're trying to get them from, but I
True.
noticed in some of these startup drafts that you could totally just get some, go two in a super flex, go two quarterbacks, and late rounds you could end up with, or not late rounds, but middle rounds. You can get your Aaron Jones, you can get your Derrick Henrys, you can get Eckler and stuff like that, and you could just be stacked. But you got when you do that, you've got to have a game plan of how the hell I'm gonna get rid of these guys and when to sell, because there's gonna be a point to sell, and you can't wait till they're completely done, or they're just gonna die in the roster. So,
Man, I guess really just I ain't gonna say I'm anti-tank, but I think the thing you should do is just build your roster to the best you can, and things will work out. There will be times where you could sell, times where you could buy.
yeah,
And then I think maybe when you're doing startup drafts, maybe you got decisions to make. Like you could like this one league that we're in, the Randos. I pretty much made a decision. I was pretty much gonna use this league to punt my first year. I was just gonna get some young guys, stuff like that. But then halfway through the year, you start winning games and stuff. You just can't give it up. But still, I went out there. I got like Kenneth Walker, made trades for Kenneth Walker, made a trade for Brees Hall. Everybody said I got smacked in that trade at first. I traded DeAndre Swift. Heck, I don't even know who else. But a bunch of other stuff. I have to go look it up specifically, but just went and got younger and wasn't really trying to compete. But in the end, I was competing, though. I was going to try to still win it all, but it didn't start off that way. That was going to be the one league I was going to have where it was like, I'm not going to try to win it all this year. But I don't know.
yeah,
If you punt, you can definitely get some of that draft capital. Like we're got a dude in our league. He's got like the 102, the 103, probably like 2 or 3 other first round picks. Some young
yeah,
guys. So if you're, that league don't cost too much. It's only like it's a cheap league. So
yeah,
if you're willing to put in the time for the rebuild, like if you're like in that other league we're about to do, like people, you don't want to just pay $100 all the time to rebuild for 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
and then when you get your team you want, you're still there's not 100% chance you're winning any year. So I mean,
Right.
you're paying, what's the buy-in, $75 or so. So I mean, it's going to be a good payout at the end of it. But we did something in that league where it kind of prevents tanking a little bit, where the best record out of the next 3 years will get about $400 just to have the best record in 3 years. So that might curve that tanking a little bit. But I mean, I went for it last year in randos. I got Derrick Henry. I got Leonard Fournette. I got who I got McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery. All these guys that are a little older. And I didn't make it last year. I finished in third. And shit, I mean, I pretty much got them all shopped right now. So this just 1 year, all these guys are 1 year older. I'm thinking about, maybe shopping all of these guys and maybe getting some picks right now, because I went for it last year. And, when you go through a whole fantasy, you kind of see a lot of holes in your roster, right? And you got to, even when you think you're set at all positions, at the end of the year, you're like, oh, I need this. This is why I lost. So that's what I'm trying to do. I want to get picks, but not set myself totally out for it. Like I'd shop Derrick Henry in a heartbeat right now if somebody will give me the right pick for him. So
I might give you the 111 for him.
I can't do that.
Oh, what you mean, man? I'm
I can't do it.
I'm gonna look to shop my first. See, I shot my first round draft pick at the beginning of last year for Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
And it looked like a real good trade. It was like, dang, I just got this starting quarterback, just got all these weapons for just one draft pick, But then I ended up trading him in a big deal. Oh, that deal with DeAndre Swift, I shipped out Zach Wilson. I got Kenny Pickett. So like I dominated.
Yeah,
I
feeling
just
good about it.
dominated. Just dominated that trade. Shout out to Dunk. I'll be running his ass, man. I hope he's listening to this episode.
He feels so confident about the trades he makes, and then didn't even make the playoffs last year. We were sitting there talking so much shit about Dunk. I can't wait to start this new league with him in there. Just he's gonna be doing the same old thing, be offering like crazy ass trades, and I mean, I just ain't gonna hit accept every time. I mean, I think I gave him, I think I gave him Gibson last year, and I ended up with like Jacobs or something like that. And at the end of last year, I traded because I was just in win now mode in that league. So I traded DeAndre Swift, who everybody loved, for Christian McCaffrey just to win just to win last year. But even right now, it looks like it's a lot better. So I'm feeling good about it.
Yep. I guess now, just currently in this league, because while we're talking about randos and all that, I was talking about how that first year I was pretty much trying not. I ain't gonna say I wasn't trying not to win, but then I shipped off Zeke Elliott and got a late first from old P Miller. He was going for it, so he went and got him Zeke at the end. But I drafted Calvin Ridley at the beginning of the year. He'll be back this year. So my squad in that, I got my quarterbacks are Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, and I got Kenny Pickett. And then I got Kenneth Walker, Brees Hall, Calvin Ridley, T. Higgins, Gerald Everett, Marquise Brown, Chris Olave, Zay Jones. Bunch of gibberish on my bench, though. So now I'm just going to be working to try to build some depth. About to try to get Rashad Bateman from old Quiggy Smalls, and we'll see how it goes.
And need some more sugar, man. You'll need a little bit more sugar.
Man, shout out to Mudbud. We need to just see if I can have that guy on. Just so we could just
Whoever
see
he
what he
may
looked
be.
like.
Whoever he may be. But he got one of the better names, Downset Mudbutt.
Definitely.
The longer I get to think about that name, the harder I laugh at that shit. It's like But yeah, my team in that one, man, receivers are a problem. I'm gonna have to figure out something. Gabe Davis and Allen Lazard are my main receivers, but I have so many running backs. But that's just the way that's kind of the way I do it, is running backs, and hopefully I can get a little in return for these guys. Some of these fellas I waited a little bit too long on, like Leonard Fournette. I mean, I'll probably trade him for a third rounder at this point,
Man, crap, man. This is what's crazy. John, this was like early in the year last year, probably like week 5, I bet. Something like that. And our guy, my man, Jordan Harris, sent a trade to John. It was like Melvin Gordon and 2 first rounders, so. But the thing is, John's like in win now mode. And he was like, I ain't gonna do that trade just because he was gonna try to win it all. But then it was like Leonard Fournette started getting trashed. He started falling off at the back half of the year, but now John's like, I'm kicking myself because dude could
he
have
didn't
had two
take two
first
first
rounders.
rounders and Melvin Gordon for Fournette.
Nah, Fournette was going off too at the time. He
Yeah,
wanted to do it. It was like one of those things where you want to do it, but it's like you want to win.
yeah. I mean, like this team, this running back's ridiculous. I got Fournette bad, but I got McCaffrey, Rashad White, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Derrick Henry, Khalil Herbert, Alexander Madison, Jeff Wilson. Like I got a lot of running backs, but I'm gonna have to trade. I'm gonna have to try to get me a receiver. I want to get that, and don't you think, Matt? You need to start paying attention to these rookie drafts around. So if you're making a trade right now and you're in a dynasty league that's already going on, you need to start paying attention to where the positions are going and what picks they're going at. So if I wanted, let's say I wanted Njigba, I want to try to get like the 105 or so, or the 104.
Yeah.
And see if I can replace that with a receiver like trade one of these guys. I got a lot of running backs. Like I said, if I could sit here and shop, Rashad White, get the 104 or something like that. If somebody's high on Rashad White, David Montgomery, and get me a receiver to fill in that hole that I got, it would be nice. And you need to know where these quarterbacks are going too. You got three main ones really in this upcoming draft, right?
You said quarterbacks?
Yeah, quarterbacks. You got three. You pretty much got three, it seems like.
I'm going to be honest. You really got four main ones, man, because you got to throw Will Levis in there. Because he's going to have the draft capital, even though we be hating on him and whatnot.
Will he start, though? He's going to be going in the
guy.
But he'll probably be going later on in the NFL draft where he's going to be in the backup category right now because when I look around the NFL, I mean, there's not really – I mean, you got the Panthers and the Colts and the Texans who really need a quarterback to start for them this year. But other than that, the other teams can really wait. I mean, the Falcons are going to wait. The Raiders got their guy. The Seahawks got their guy. So whatever team Will Levis goes to, he ain't going to be starting this year unless injury occurs or he just shows out like Justin Herbert did for the Chargers.
I think the chances are that if he's a first round draft pick and he gets drafted in the first round, he's probably going to start some point that year, don't you think? It's very rare something like Jordan Love like that. He ain't going to get in a situation like that. I mean, I'm seeing top 10, Kraft. I'm seeing top 10 from this guy.
Yeah, I'm seeing top 10 too, but I'm thinking of this year. And, if you watch NFL at all, they definitely, if the season gets a little out of hand, say like the Falcons did last year, they had Mariota. They drafted Desmond Ridder. We all knew he wasn't going to start week 1, but eventually, if the season gets out of hand, they have no chance at a playoff berth. Desmond Ridder got a little playing time. I think the Falcons waited a little too long, but the division was so fucking bad that they were still in contention, so they didn't play him. But I bet you the Falcons were thinking when they drafted Ridder, hey, we'll put this guy in week 7 because we're going to be out of the playoffs.
Probably.
I think that's kind of like the Will Levis thing. So if he gets drafted to a bad enough team where they're out of the playoff hunt, maybe
Ridder was like a 5th round draft pick. Well, hey, all I'm saying is just throw Will Levis in. He's definitely going in the first round of rookie drafts and Superflex rookie drafts, top 12. Assuming he gets the draft capital.
I'm just thinking of NFL teams that don't already have a starter this year. I mean, I can't really. This year's kind of set in stone other than injuries. I mean, who do you got starting right now for any? Is there any NFL team that you can think of that draft Will Levis and they're like, all right, we're gonna need you week 5, because the teams later on in the draft, they're later on in the draft for the reason is because they're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. You know me, I'm not really a Will Levis guy, so I wouldn't be drafting him. No way. No way he would be a first round draft pick. But that's just how him and Anthony Richardson are, though. Like, they're just upside plays at this point. Like, I mean, Richardson a little more so. Dude's running like a 4.4 and shit like that. But
I mean, I know they've been in the news a lot, but I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Say the Jets get Aaron Rodgers for a year or two. Maybe they draft Will Levis if they can hold on to that number 13 pick. But I think I don't think they'll make that mistake of, if they get Rodgers, they're going for it this year. So they're going to draft them a player that's going to help them this year. But that's the kind of situation that I'm thinking Will Levis gets into, like a old veteran quarterback still playing, and they're going to move on. I really think the Seahawks would probably be like the best fit because Geno, they didn't give him a huge contract. They can move on if they had to.
Yeah. Basically, going on with that league, I got Sam Howell on the block, and we're just waiting for the rookie draft. it's pretty much what we're doing right now. But we're gonna wait till after the NFL draft. I hope if there was a league where we did the draft before the NFL draft, I'd want it to be this league. So,
Might as well
which I
keep
would,
the same energy.
right?
We drafted before the fucking draft last year. We drafted in like New Year's. It was like Happy New Year's Day, everybody. Draft day.
People just love drafting right now, though. It's crazy, man. Superflex startups going everywhere, but yep, I'm in win now mode in that league. So, and listen, it's a Superflex league. Quarterbacks are everything. Gotta have you some quarterbacks. Draft you some quarterbacks even later on. Who knows, man? They might have value at some point because we just started. We've talked about it, mentioned it every now and then in these episodes, but we started a Superflex league. You're commissioning it, and it's got a bunch of heavy hitters up in there, but we just did a lot of things different than leagues that normally what I would do. Like we got 2 divisions. Uh, what else we got, Craft Man? We did a few things a little bit different. Oh, got a little pot in there for best record after a few over. What else we got going on in that league, Craft?
Yeah, we pretty much started early enough where my main goal was to start early so that we could vote on everything. I didn't want to be a straight up commissioner. Me and you kind of talked about it, and we put everything to vote. The only reason I'm commissioner is because I just set up the sleeper app and set up all the rosters and stuff like that. But we voted on literally everything. We had a full day of just fucking what you want to do right here. How many roster spots you want? What points you get per reception? Stuff like that. So I think everything's set up based on just votes right now, and I think the only thing different, like I said earlier, is the pot where the best record gets something after 3 years. It kind of helps a little bit with the tanking situation. Teams are still going to tank if they're that bad, obviously. And one thing I'm big about starting a league is just put your lineups in. I don't care if your team is bad, if your team is good. Put your best lineup out there every week. And then once it gets to the consolation bracket and you're not in the playoffs, if you're a team that don't make the playoffs, then by all means, try to get that 101. I don't care if you have to go worst against worst. I mean, just do what you got to do to get the best pick. But in the regular season, I mean, we've all seen it, Matt. If you're trying to get a playoff spot, sometimes you need a win and another guy needs a loss. Yeah. And you need that team that's shitty to beat that team so that you can get in. And it's frustrating as hell if y'all ever played in a league where you're sitting there, I need a win, player A needs a loss, and then the other team playing player A ain't even put a lineup in, and that shit frustrates the hell out of you. So that's just what I'm trying to avoid. Yeah. Because don't nobody like that shit.
We ain't with that shit 1,000%. And heck, in that redraft league, I needed to win in that last week. I needed 2 people to lose. I'm like messaging people, telling people to message folks like, yo, set your lineups. Lineups got to be set. Man, you know what, crap? I can't wait to get back into redraft. I can't wait till all that starts. We start running some mock drafts.
Yeah, I think that's the main advantage of redraft. I mean, I like both. They both have advantages, but one reason I played a redraft so much over the years is because of that everybody just drafts based on I'm going to win this year because that's all they got. And everybody's competing until the end because you don't really have nothing else to go. You put your money in, and if you don't win, you lose your money. And that's it. You been smoking, drinking?
I burped and drank beer at the same time. I was like,
shit caught me. At least you didn't do that shit in the mic. That would have sounded fucking gross.
But yeah, shoot, we just waiting on the startup draft for this league. Got way ahead of it. Got everybody ready. collecting dues now. I think I still got to send my dues to you and
Well,
Noah Dick Blower. Shout out to Noah
yep.
Dick Blower.
Got to send it to Noah Dick Blower. And while we're on the topic, Matt, like, how are you approaching this startup right here? Like, what? Go ahead and give to the people your main approach. I mean, I know it's still a good ways out. We're about 2 months out, so not that far. We need some landing spots for these rookies and a little bit of free agent signings, and then everything should be pretty much set in stone when we do these mock drafts. So,
Well, basically, this is how I am approaching it. And I just pretty much you got to go with the flow with a draft. Obviously, it's a super flex, so I'm gonna try my best to take a quarterback. Maybe in my first 2 picks, just go ahead and get that quarterback solidified if I can. If I can't, then that means I got Justin Jefferson or Jamar, something like that.
yeah.
And basically, what I'm gonna do is, oh snap! I see.
You see Swizzy.
I see old Swizzy done showed up on the thing.
He ain't texted us all
Basically.
day. He's just like, I'm just gonna fucking show up whenever the fuck I want to. Look
Man,
at him.
crap.
Look at him loading down there. Oh, he just said, I'm
Yes,
just gonna show up whenever the
sir.
fuck I
Let's
want
go.
to.
I hit the bong and then I came in and my Discord was up and I was like, oh, these dudes are recording. Let me hop
We
in.
own.
Chris, man, we just talked. Heck, now we just started Superflex. Chris, we pretty much doing an episode tonight, Chris, about we just talk about all these leagues and shit. Me and Kraft talked about our teams in this one league, but now we talked about the Doo Dynasty and
Just how we approaching startups right now.
basically it's Chris has got the 101, so we all know how he's starting up. I'm at the 109. Kraft, where you at in that draft?
We're at the 104, so we can pretty much cover a lot of strategies right here. We got picks all the way through the draft, so.
Yep.
Matt, go ahead and finish what you were saying before Chris came on. Like what you planning on doing?
Yeah, look, this is what I was gonna say. I'm gonna try to address the quarterbacks real quick off the bat. But I think my main strategy this draft is as I ain't gonna be opposed to taking the veterans. Because when you're in these startup drafts, people gonna be young. If I can snag me a couple of these veterans that are gonna help me win now, that's what I'm gonna do. Especially guys like, heavy hitters like Cooper Kupp, maybe a couple of these running backs like Eckler if he stays with the Chargers. Like some of these guys are worth taking a shot on, even if you can only have them for a year.
Hell yeah! One thing I noticed too is you gotta, if for anybody out there, you have to know who the fuck you're playing with because last year I started a dynasty league and it was mostly a bunch of guys who did redraft. So Matt, a lot of your guys that you have in this league, this startup, are dynasty guys. A lot of the people I brought in are redraft guys. So, there's a different strategy there because redraft guys will kind of prefer veterans a little more than dynasty guys. Somebody who's only played dynasty is more likely to draft a Charbonnet over a Saquon, or maybe not Saquon, but maybe like Eckler or something like that. But redraft guys, they're gonna kind of prefer the win now mode probably. Got to fill out the league before you start.
If I see somebody draft Charbonnet over Eckler, I might go smack the shit out of him real quick.
Hey, they should get smacked, but I'm trying to think of a better one. Maybe Charbonnet over Henry. Is that better?
I'll just say any top 24 guy, I'd be looking at them like, well, I ain't gonna say a 24 guy. Go get you some rookies, but
don't be surprised if a redraft guy drafts Derrick Henry over Jahmyr Gibbs. It won't be me.
You do something like that, you might as well just go into win now mode all the way.
You gotta.
But the thing is, I'm gonna be up there looking at Derrick Henry. If he falls to where I think I want to grab him, I'm gonna grab him. I ain't gonna be opposed to taking him. It's like Chris. I was telling the Craft Man earlier, like you can I ain't really for all this. Let's just rebuild stuff because you're in some of these leagues. Like if you're paying $100, like okay, you're rebuilding for 2 years. That's $200 you just threw down the drain. Like
I
Yeah.
agree.
eventually, like
And you ain't
you
guaranteed
know,
shit. You ain't guaranteed shit even when you get your team where you want it to be.
right? So it's like I ain't all for you know what I'm saying, Chris. Like I'm
I
gonna
mean,
take
me
some
of
of
all
these
people
veterans.
knows what you're saying, dude. I
Yep,
completely retuned my team and won the championship in the Dynasty League. I was projected to be like 8th, ninth, bottom.
that's exactly what I said 20 minutes ago. Word for word, man. You might as well just go for it. But you just it's like crap how you said. Like I could definitely tell. I've been mocking with a few of the guys. Like I definitely think young players is what a lot of people are gonna be going for. So I'm gonna be snagging some vets.
Hell yeah. But you also have to realize that there's two sides of the coin too. Like with me in this randos, I went for it last year and I lost. And now you look at your team and you're like, oh fuck. Like I've got to do something. I've got these guys that are only a year older now. I've got to you have to realize, oh, maybe I can run it back with these guys. But there's two, like I said, there's two sides of it. You can go for it all, but really, I mean, Chris, I want you to hear. I mean, I want you to, give a little perspective right here. But when I tell anybody new to Dynasty, like, what do you do? How do you draft? I just tell them, build your team like an NFL team would build it. You got a mix of veterans, you got a mix of young guys, and that's the way you want to go. If you can have a quarterback who's young and great, that's awesome. But that's what the first two rounds of Dynasty is young and great. And then after that, you have the mixture of, do I want a veteran or do I want a prospect?
Yeah. See, I mean, I haven't even been going with rookie picks. Young guys. I think the youngest player on my team is Amon Ra, but the rest of my team's not pushing over. I think my oldest player was probably like CMC at a really good skill position.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's something you definitely got to think about.
But if you have Derrick Henry on your team right now, who, let's just say like me, like you finished third last year, you got Derrick Henry on your team still. Are you trying to shop the guy? You trying to run it back with him? See if you can, maybe get a little more lucky this year, or what do you do if you have some older guys and you lost last year? You're trying to go for it again, trade more picks and try to get a little stronger, or are you, saying, "Damn, I went all in. I need to start over a little bit."
I mean, just the case with Derrick Henry. I mean, he's pushing 30 almost.
But you can't
Definitely.
get.
I mean, yeah, no, you're not going to get much, but getting something before it's too late, rather than having to just drop this dude,
But
you
like
got
Matt
nothing.
offered me like the 111 on the podcast. Would you take a 111 for Derrick Henry, even if you have a little bit of hope of still going for it next year? Because if you give up Derrick Henry, I mean, you're pretty much. I'm not saying you're giving up completely, but you're giving up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you are.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. You should just take that 111 and give me Derrick Henry. Chris, that's the team where I already got Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker. So I might just add a little sugar on top. I'm going for it in that league. Shoot, man. Anything else, Crabman, you want to say about this league? I bet we've talked about it a few times, but tight end premium, super flex. Um, Pretty much it,
Yeah.
though. I mean,
No, I'm good with that one. I'm gonna really move on to my dynasty league I started last year. And y'all can talk about y'all's the Cruise Dynasty, which is what this podcast is pretty much fucking based off of. So
yeah.
with my league, my dynasty league I started last year, I finished seventh place or so, right in the middle. But I ended up with the 101, the 102, and the 103 pick this year. And before the start of the rookie draft, I'm probably not going to have any of them. I've done traded all of them. I traded the 103 for Jonathan Taylor straight up. I traded the 102. I'm about to trade the 102 for Jordan Love and Rashad White. And I traded the 101 for Jamar Chase. I gave up the 101 and Jerry Jeudy for Jamar Chase. So I've traded pretty much all three of my picks. But I've ended up with younger guys and all this. But we talked about the whole Jordan Love thing last time. I think any of us, would y'all disagree? Would y'all trade the 103 for Jonathan Taylor?
Nah, you could have got way more because theoretically, well, not really even theoretically, there's going to be a quarterback going in that spot right there. You probably could have got way more than. Well, I would definitely give up Jonathan Taylor for C.J. Stroud in the super.
I mean, my team right now, I have at the quarterback position. I could have got, like you said, I could have got C.J. Stroud. But
You would regret that if he gets drafted by Carolina. You would regret the fuck out of that.
I mean, Chris, would you trade the 103 for JT?
Yeah, I mean, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about what I think. Kraft, I think you were the only one that didn't have Jonathan Taylor as the number one
No, I had him.
Dynasty running back. Did you? Okay.
Yeah,
Then it was consensus. It was consensus. I mean, you're talking about trading for, number one Dynasty running back. Like you got Jamar Chase out of it. I mean, you're set for God knows how long with him.
I'm going to tell you my team right now that I built up, and it's a super flex, tight end premium in that league. But as of right now, starting this, if I get the Jordan Love trade and Rashad White, my quarterbacks will be Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr. I got some more, but, I got Sam Howell, Baker Mayfield, blah, blah, blah. But running backs, if I trade Najee, I will have Jonathan Taylor, Travis Etienne, J.K. Dobbins, and Tyler Algier at my running backs. And receivers will be T. Higgins, C.D. Lamb, and Jamar Chase. So, and the tight end and the tight end premium still be Dallas Goedert. So, I need Russell Wilson to fucking. I need Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert sucked dick last year, so I need Justin Herbert and Russell Wilson to play. And if they can play, I'll win. That's my problem. That was my problem last year. I drafted Justin Herbert at number 2 over Mahomes, like some kind of moron. And I got Russell Wilson in I think it was like the 302 or something. Because he was so high at the end last year. And, I mean, when you have them two quarterbacks, I think Justin Herbert finishes like the QB 11 last year. Russell Wilson wasn't shit. So that's the reason I lost.
Trash, man. Your QBs are trash, cuz.
But my team's set up this year. Don't you agree? I mean, if the quarterbacks can play.
You're stacked. Might should go see if you can. I mean, I don't know. Who's your other quarterback? I guess it's going to be Jordan Love.
No, my other quarterback is Herbert, Russell Wilson. Hopefully, Sean Payton will fix it. And I got Derek Carr with the Saints.
Yeah, you straight. You straight.
So would y'all keep Chris, would you keep the 102 and get Jahmyr Gibbs? Because I really like Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, with my team the way it's based, I don't think I'm going to draft a quarterback right there. Because, like I said, I got 3 starters, obvious starters. And then
Trade back.
Man. Jahmyr Gibbs would be nice.
Go get that 105 and.
It's a new league. It's a new NFL, man. Jahmyr Gibbs, running backs like that perform like crazy. Jahmyr Gibbs is like, what's his name? Dalvin Cook's brother.
You can get Jahmyr Gibbs probably at the 102.
You
5,
think?
105, 106. Superflex, right?
Yeah,
if you think
maybe.
somebody will bite on that Anthony Richards stuff too.
But
Anthony,
I'm about
I've
to
seen.
trade
I'm sorry.
Najee for Garrett Wilson straight up. So I
Yeah, I'd
might
do
need to
that too.
replace that running back spot with Jahmyr Gibbs. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm saying you could probably get him, even trade back and get him.
Depends on what teams you think are going to draft quarterbacks there. Because
You don't think
what
Bryce Young and Stroud going 2-3?
you would think, but I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is like he weighed in at like 200 pounds,
199.
yeah, 199, and ran like a 4.36 or 4.38. I mean, just put it this way: like, say Eckler leaves. If you make a trade right now, say Eckler leaves because he's on the trade block, and say the Chargers get Jahmyr Gibbs. What is the golly, the value on Jahmyr Gibbs would be
Oh my
incredible,
God.
man. You're talking about probably over Bijan at that point. I mean, damn.
It'll be definitely. See, that should be a question we should be asked. What if Bijan went to the Patriots and Gibbs went to the Chargers? Like,
If Gibbs
would you
replaces
want
Eckler,
then?
holy shit. You talking about RB1 value. I mean, damn. I like Gibbs a lot too. I mean, I'm pretty damn high on him, so
I just probably wouldn't do the Jordan Love Rashad White one. I'd probably wait on that one.
what do you think, Chris? The 102 for Jordan Love and Rashad White?
I mean, Leonard Fournette's gone. They brought in who'd they bring in? I don't think that
Chase
they'll be
Edmonds,
Rashad.
man, he ain't fucking.
Yeah, that dude won't even see
that's
the
like a
field.
perfect signing, man.
Yeah, you already know that you're gonna get like 4 or 5 breathers. They're just gonna put him in for some bullshit, and you good because he can't beat you for the starting role. But
We talked about it last episode, Chris. Like, I mean, I understand Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud are both going to be first round picks.
Yeah.
But Jordan Love has been sitting behind a great for 3 years, just like Aaron Rodgers did Brett Favre. He's playing with the Packers, a better organization than the fucking Texans. I mean, even if I traded the 102 just for Jordan Love, if I was going to pick Bryce Young, I mean, I don't think it'd be. Jordan Love plays really well.
Yeah.
Might be worth it.
I'm not always so bought into the player that just is, been under the vet for so long. Like, yeah, that happens. And I do agree with you. That happened with Aaron Rodgers sitting behind Favre. But, I mean, like, Jimmy G sat behind Tom Brady for how long? That dude, I don't even think.
Jimmy G wasn't a first rounder, was he?
No,
Second rounder.
Second rounder.
But, I mean, fantasy-wise, Jordan Love got a lot more wheels than Jimmy Garoppolo got. I mean, he can run.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with that, yeah.
Definitely not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes. Don't take it this way at all. But the way I see Jordan Love is like the mobility of Patrick Mahomes. Like not Lamar Jackson, not like he's no Justin Fields. He's not going to take off running for 1,000 yards, but he can rush for 400 yards.
Did this dude just compare Jordan Love to Patrick Mahomes, bro?
I said I did not do that. I did not do that.
He
But
said
You fucking crazy, bro.
He said that he's like, oh, I'm not comparing them. And then he immediately goes to comparing them, like just blatantly comparing them.
No. Comparing the mobility of just he has some mobility, but not. He's not Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to rush for 50 yards.
Right.
But Jordan Love will rush for probably 300 yards in his first
I'll
season.
put it like this, crap. That trade right there will be worth it. Jordan Love is the quarterback for Green Bay for the next 6-7 years. So we'll just see how it goes.
Very, very risky. It's super
Very
risky.
Very risky. And yeah. All right, then. Well, shoot. You got anything else to say about that league then, Kraft Man?
Nah, y'all. I done gave my 2 cents on my league. I want to hear what y'all got to say about what y'all got going on in the Cruise Dynasty League. And I'm going to take a piss. So you guys yap it up for a minute.
C Swizzy, man, what is there to say? You're the champ. Heck, I guess we should really be asking you what the hell you about to do. What you about to do with the squad, with your squad? Are you just going to go for it for another championship? You just going to, sell some pieces, get some draft picks? What you going to do about it, C Swizzy?
I'm running it back. I'm just kind of in the situation where I feel like that I don't want to trade. Because if I'm wanting to trade, everybody in our league just wants to give up little shit for like key pieces. Like I can't even tell you the bullshit offers that I've got for like Amon Ra or stuff like that. Like I can't. Jordan is killing me with some of these trades, sending me like DJ Moore and like a pick for Adam Thielen or something like that. That's crazy. DJ Moore's stock definitely took a hit going to Chicago, though. I think.
You think so, Chris? Some people say it going up.
I mean, I could see it going up, but I mean, Justin Fields is just going to want to run the ball.
We'll just have to see how that shit works in Chicago now, because I don't know, man. It's Justin Fields just gonna start throwing the ball around. Like I don't know.
Right.
He threw it a little bit at Ohio State though. Had a nice deep ball, so I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to give up like key pieces. But I was like shopping Christian McCaffrey around a bit. But I mean, Christian McCaffrey still. I mean, you still got to give a pretty good amount to get Christian McCaffrey.
Right. Chris has got guys like CMC, Amon Ra, Josh Jacobs,
who just re-signed. I mean, he got franchise tag, so he's back in Vegas, and he says he's playing.
I'm with you, Chris. I might would run it on back, man. I guess that for the right price, anybody can go though. CMC, Josh Jacobs. I mean, if somebody wants to pay up for him, I might would send them. But who else you got? Amon Ra, probably untouchable. You gotta get some. You gotta get some good. I don't even know, some good draft capital or a real good player to get Amon Ra, top eight kind of guy. So at least that's how I see it. We about to hop on these wide receivers. I think in the Dynasty ranking, Amon Ra's probably in the top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about
the being safe.
I thought you were talking about the 108. I'm like, I ain't trading Amon Ra for the 108.
We just talk about Chris' team for a second. He said he's just gonna run it on back. Got Josh Jacobs, CMC, Jalen Hurts. Man, I don't blame you, Chris. Amon Ra, Amari Cooper,
and
you're still pretty young.
And then on the bench, I mean, I've got James Conner sitting on the bench. I mean, Brian Robinson down there. And then next year, I've got, I don't know, I keep saying this, but I guarantee you David's pick next year is a top 3 pick.
Can't wait to get in the league with that guy.
No, hold on, let me look at this. What is this trade you did the other day with him? You were like, it was even. I was laughing like hell. I'm about to pull it. Do you know it off the top of your head?
I know it off the top of my head because he texted me, man.
Yeah, David initially was trying to dump off the 209. He was like, no, he was trying to get my 209, and he was trying to dump off AJ Dillon. Like, he's just trying to get rid of him. I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that. So I just held strong. So I just asked him about every player, like all these players that I would have interest in. I just asked him about all of them, and then later he's like, how about Romeo Dobbs, and AJ Dillon for the 2-9? I was just like, send it, motherfucker. I mean, I wasn't I wasn't really gonna try to sell the pick. I was just gonna keep it. But you send me 2 of those guys. Dobbs is a second year guy. AJ Dillon adds a little depth. I mean, I pretty much doubled the value on the back end of a second round pick.
Well,
problem is he came up with that himself. He offered that to you. It's not even like he started off with that.
That's how I got Brian Robinson. He just sent me. I was doing a route that day, and then he sent me a trade. It was Rondell Moore for Brian Robinson. Man, I was slamming accept on my phone.
Shit, Rondale Moore might pan out though.
I was just about to say Rondale.
I mean, he could, but I think Brian
can't-
Roberts is going to be a bit more valuable these next 2 years.
I just can't wait to get him in the league this year. The first day we get him after we draft, the startup draft, I'm gonna be offering this man like, let me get JT for the 209. You know, he'll be
Shoot,
like,
but what's
man,
crazy is
20-
though
the 209 is bad. He must have a player
He
in mind for
wanted-
the 209.
No, see, that's why I'm surprised he gave up AJ Dillon and something for a late second round pick. He was shopping AJ Dillon for like first. I remember he was asking some people for 2 first round picks for AJ Dillon.
before last season,
Yeah.
like 2 first rounders and a couple back. I
Hey,
remember Dunk had it.
He said Aaron Jones is done, man.
Hey, he re-signed, but I gotta ask y'all a question. I gotta ask y'all a question too. We can go back to y'all's league after this question, but is this the time of year to start thinking about 2024 first rounders and looking at teams that you know are bad and go ahead and, like, say we know Brock Bowers, right, for Georgia. I mean, I'm a Georgia lover, but we can all agree he's one of the better tight ends that's probably going to come out in college, right?
Yeah.
No doubt.
So if you're thinking ahead, say you want to get the first 5 picks in 2024 in a tight end premium league, are you thinking about that right now? Like Marvin Harrison Jr. coming out of Ohio State. Are you thinking about that and offering trades for that at this time of year, or are y'all waiting a little while longer? Because you might can get a little the picks aren't worth as much a year ahead as they are, this year. So
Right. I've honestly, what you're saying is it has already crossed my mind. I've definitely looked at some 24 picks, pretty much the one that Chris has. That's why I think it's funny Chris is talking about that pick being the top 3. Like, I mean, that thing could be top 1. So
you think Chris is going to be bad next year? Is that what you're
no,
thinking?
no. Chris has got somebody else's
Okay. Gotcha.
first rounder, and then
Nah,
it's
my
like,
team ain't changed. I could easily still creep up, and I mean, I
Yeah.
honestly could win again if things stay good. Like if Josh Jacobs even stays somewhat similar to how he was.
yeah. I mean, hey, if I was Chris, I'd run it back. But if somebody sent me the right price for some stuff other than Amon Ra
But would you trade a good player now
or Hurts,
for something like that? Like say somebody offered, or you had Nick Chubb on your team. Would you trade Nick Chubb for a 2024 first, knowing that team that you're
Shit.
trading to will be a top 5 pick?
I might would if I was Chris and just won the championship. You know
Money's
what I mean?
money's still money. If you won the championship, that's great. But I don't think that just because you won, you need to just start selling.
No, you look literally both teams last year in the Dynasty League that won, like blew up their teams, and now, I mean, what, one of them made the playoff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Noah did the same. He blew up. He won the championship. He done got rid of Saquon. He done got rid of Mike Evans, which is obvious, but he's probably got. He got rid of Joe Mixon. He got rid of like I said, Saquon.
He's got some obvious players to get rid of.
Yeah, so he's got. I think when we make this trade for the 102, he'll probably have 2 or 3. He won the championship last year, and he's probably not going to have a chance this year. But he'll have about 5 picks in the first 2 rounds. So
Yeah.
he's already started selling.
Hey man, it's fun to rebuild. I feel like I would like to do me like one of those little deep rebuilds, but we'll see. Maybe one day. Maybe in the Randos League. Heck,
He
I'll
lost
just
on that Saquon trade though. I can't remember who he traded it for. I can't remember what pick it was. He didn't get much.
Oh, he didn't get too much.
I think he traded Saquon and Freiermuth for it was like the 10. It was an early pick, like 104 and a little something else, but it wasn't much.
Well, shit, I guess I'll just say a little something about my team in the Cruise Dynasty League. And that team right there, I'm just in win now mode. I'm always be in win now mode with this team, and basically, I'm just waiting for the rookie draft because at the end of last year, my team got so beat up, I just started selling. So I sold guys like DeAndre Swift for Pacheco, and the one ended up being the 107. I sold Jamal Williams for a second and a third, and I sold Cordell Patterson for a couple thirds. I sold I don't know. I just started dumping off guys, especially running backs. DeAndre Swift for sure. Although I was willing to hold DeAndre Swift for another year, I was definitely going to go into the year, but I finally got the offer. So basically, my team right now is just like Deshaun Watson, hoping he pans out. But I got Pierce, Dobbins, Cup, CD, Dallas Goedert, Marquise Brown, Javonte Williams. 10-man league though, by the way. And then like I got me a lot of draft capital over the off season, so I wasn't gonna trade any of it. But pretty much for this year, I've traded a second and a third, and I've gotten AJ Dillon, Romeo Dobbs, and Zay Jones. So I'm getting some offers that I can't really refuse. So I've shipped a few of these draft picks off, a couple of them off. Late ones, though, I'm keeping all my early ones. Although the 107's on the block, fellas, if y'all want to hit me up. But so my team looks a little thin right now because I'm waiting to draft 6 players. But
Yeah, you own like the second round.
yeah, I got a lot of second round. I'm gonna draft a lot of rookie running backs. I'm gonna get me about
I was
2 or
about to
3.
say a lot of fucking rookie running backs going in that second round, man. You can take so many chances on rookie running backs this year.
And when you were talking earlier about trying to go and get 24 picks, like I'd ship my 24 picks for a veteran if I can to help me win. So it's pretty much where I stand in that league. I was top 2 all the way until that week where Cooper Kupp and Dallas Goedert went down, and that was the end. All the injuries, those were the 2 that really killed me. But now they'll be back, and hopefully I'll make a run for it, and I'm gonna try to win.
Yeah. And to put it in perspective too, like these 2024 picks, they look great now, but you never know what's going to happen in the college season. Like I remember Sam Howell was the fucking dude for North Carolina.
Fuck that.
And now, and you waited a year, and you were like, "I'm gonna get Sam Howell." And then the next year in college, he's nothing. I mean, he pretty much ruined his whole draft stock. I mean, he had to come back another year. That's just college rules. But Sam Howell was the best quarterback in the nation until he played another year in college.
I don't know who was thinking that. They probably
Sam Howell was so far up there at North Carolina,
man.
before that last year.
Real quick though, Kraft, I got one more Dynasty league I'm in, and it's only went through 1 year. It's my family league, and the league ended up being competitive. But I wanted to bring this league up real quick and mention it because this is like if you're like listening to podcasts like this, or if you're I don't know, like if you're just into fantasy, there's definitely a difference between. You could tell. I put this league into the keep trade cut power rankings, and the top 3 in this league were me, John, and Phil. 3 people who literally played Dynasty fantasy football. So it was like, but anyways, we knew how to maneuver around the startup draft and all that stuff, and we went a few different routes. But my team is so stacked. Like I got quarterback is my weakest spot, but I got Geno Smith. But then I got Kenneth Walker, Ramondre, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Kyle Pitts, DK Metcalf, Drake London. Then I got Kyler Murray. And then I got just a lot of depth, like Raheem Mostert, Damian Pierce, Calvin Ridley, John Mechie. Let's go, man. K. Tony, Sky Moore, Romeo Duck. I mean, I'm stacked, man. Stacked. But that league right there, I will always be in win now mode. I had the 101 in that league. I went with Justin Jefferson. That's my last Dynasty league right there, though. So I lost though. Barely squeaked into playoffs with that team right there. Barely squeaked in. And then they got to the championship crab, and everybody's like, DK got like one catch for 4 yards and shit like that.
That team is so ass, man. That team is ass.
Man, what's crazy, when I typed it into that little keep trade cut thing, the guy I lost to, he's dead last in those rankings. But he won the championship. He's got like Derrick Henry and stuff like that. He's got a bunch of old guys that he won. I'm very first, and I lost to that guy. I got killed by him too.
Garbage ass team you got over there. It sounds so good, man. I mean, you got so much depth.
Yeah, John has got guys like Brees Hall and all these top running backs like Jonathan Taylor. He's got all that. His team is stacked too.
All got
Bill's
fucking
stacked
hurt
too.
Yeah.
So he's got a high draft pick in this league, 12-man single quarterback. So that pretty much does me on the fantasy side. I'm gonna try to keep my fantasy leagues low, like joining this one with y'all, and then I'm gonna eventually try to get this podcast in some leagues. But other than that, I don't want to get into too many.
Yeah, I mean 4 is like my main goal. About 4 leagues. Right. I'm in 5, but you know, 4 is the perfect number. 2 redraft, 2 dynasty, and that's the way I try to keep it right now. But redraft still my baby though. When redraft season comes around,
can't wait.
You know, Craft Man's gonna be, it's gonna be like in the heat of the moment, like Asia. Y'all don't know that fucking song. Y'all don't know that damn song.
But that's how it is, Craft Man. The Cruise Dynasty League, that's my Dynasty League, and then the Average Joe's, that's my redraft league. Those were my 2 important leagues last year. That's how it's gonna be this year, along with Doo Dynasty. Hey, it don't matter, man. I keep up with all my leagues, man. If you're in my league, I stay buttoned up.
Yep. And I love to get y'all in leagues so that when I beat y'all, I can brag about it on the podcast, you know?
Mm-hmm. I'm still waiting on my trophy.
Yeah, I ain't in that league, Chris. You wouldn't be hoisting that thing.
Oh, man. Yeah, it is funny that Chris was up here not too long ago. He could have got that trophy. Michael was just right up the road, man.
Man said I got the trophy in my fucking head. It doesn't matter. I got the cash money.
I got the little champion symbol on the sleeper app.
Yeah,
on the corner of my neck.
Well, shoot, man, Chris, I was saying, we'll, what you call it? All of us might not be on our Dynasty Ranking episodes, but just check out the website. Wide receivers are next. Me and the Poor Man, we did that episode will be out here in well, heck, if you're listening to this episode, it's already out. Me and the Poor Man dropped 13 through 24. We all about to hop on these wide receivers. And then they'll be on the website too. So, and we'll have top 24s on there. And then after that, me and the Crab Man and Chris will just slowly add our Dynasty rankings. If we want to add stuff to it, like get our full list on out there, but we'll take our time with that one. But what you say, Crab Man? Then,
yep, these rankings that we give out, they're gonna change. They're gonna
always changing.
Yeah, they're always changing. Everything's gonna change a little bit when the draft comes around. How we're ranking these rookies and stuff like that. Like as of now, I got Jahmyr Gibbs at RB14. If he gets drafted by a good team, he'll jump. And so will Bijan if he goes to another team. Even some of the other rookies, Charbonnet, Zach Evans, some guys like that. Landing spots matter. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, landing spots definitely matter.
But yeah, man, add the podcast, 5-star review. Check us out on all our other platforms. But yeah, man, that about wraps it on up, man. Anything else? Crap, man?
What we got coming up next, Matt?
Probably wide receivers, I'd say.
Wide receivers 1 through 12. Tune in.
Get into the weeds on that one. But yeah, man, that about sums it all up, man. We out.
Peace.